Check, check. Microphone. Morning, folks. Just about ready to start the show here. It's really funny. There's two words to describe that. Monday. Oh, we could talk about it. Low character, right? Some people just don't have any. It's funny. Uh I gotta get the chat rolling. There it is. The dual brain, the thinkingest man in the game. How you folks doing? It's Monday. It's April 22nd. Silent bro. We saw your hand there, Brody. There he is. All right. Good morning, people. Good morning, Prime 406. Grumble, grumble. It's Monday. I know, right? It's like got a case of the Mondays. I feel like Garfield some days, don't you? Like, can I just pull the covers back up over top of my head? Can I just take a mulligan and head back to bed? Have you guys seen the new MTG spoilers? Funny, when we do this stream, at the end, I always say the cops are at the door. Like talk about future predictability. Hey, when I do the stream, every time I sign off, I go, the cops are at the door. They're knocking on the door. The cops are on their way. They've on to us. They've caught on. Well, that actually happened to somebody, right? So like, if you guys want to discuss that, there was some leaks that happened. We're going to talk about that just a little bit more, maybe some follow up on that. Good morning. Glad you guys could get here. Definitely a Garfield day, right? If you got a case of the Mondays, it's okay. You can have one of those. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. I have a good show for you here, folks. It's going to be a little bit fun. I got a couple of articles here to bring up for you from Stock Desk. I had a decent weekend, full of meetings and typing, all kinds of fun. Good. Let me get my cup of tea here. That's not my cup of tea. How are you folks doing? Brody Alfonso coming to you folks from behind the stock desk. Nice to see you here this morning. Good morning, folks. It's April 24th, 2023. I want to thank you all for joining me on the morning show, Magic Talks with your host, Brody Alfonso. We're going to have an interesting show today. A couple of news articles and some updates on the fella who had the Gestapo show up at his door. We're going to talk about that just a little bit. We got a couple of news articles for you folks here today. Wherever you are, wherever you've got Brody coming live at you, whether it's hanging from the rear mirror of the car, if you got me on the dash next to the coffee pot, maybe you're over at work right now, wherever you are, it tells me that you're tuning into the morning show. You're a get up and get at it type of person. Now, I know there's some folks that work the night shift, and I know that there's some folks that I've got busy morning, can't tune in, but the working man for the working man, doing the best that I can, bringing you folks the Magic the Gathering news as it's happening. Gonna have some discussion. I want to hear from you folks. How was the weekend? What did you get up to? Did you win some matches? Anybody who is wakey, anybody who's snoozing at this point, maybe you fell asleep in your lawn chair last night in the middle of your living room with a bag of Cheetos on your lap. Time to wake up, get going. Brody's already kicked the dog this morning. I've had a workout. I've been on a run. I've walked the neighbor's dog, the neighbor's cat, mowed the lawn, washed the windows, shoveled the snow, wrapped a few Christmas presents, signed some birthday cards, and I'm all ready to do the stream. And if you haven't done that already this morning at this time, I'm going to say you're lazy and you need to pick up the pace because you're really letting my generation down. I'm talking about my generation. That's right. Not everybody from Brody's generation is a lazy bum that doesn't want to get anything done. No, no, no. There is a few of us left that actually work hard and do things to try and get ahead and move the world a little farther along and shine a little happiness to those who are in need. If you've wasted your time, maybe you fell asleep in a lawn chair last night after you did a live stream with a bag of Cheetos sitting on your lap, and you're just sort of getting up and scratching your head and wondering where you're gonna, where you're gonna go this morning. Maybe grab yourself a bowl of Fruit Loops or something. That's fine too, but it's time to get up. It's time to get out of. It's kind of time to kick the dog. It's time to hear the rooster crow. Let's go. There's stuff to do. If you aren't if you're not first, you're last, right, Ricky Bobby? That's how it goes. All right. Well, wherever you are, I know that if you're tuning into the Brody Alfonso Morning Show, you are a kick-ass kind of person. You've got names to take, and you've got you've got bubble gum to chew. You've got ass to kick, and like, there's no time for you to waste. You got to get after that day, even though it might feel difficult. Get motivated sometimes. It's good. You need somebody to kind of give you a kick in the pants and say, I got to get up and do something. So wherever you are, hope you're trying to make a difference in the world, make this place a little bit better for all of us. Trying to maybe teach somebody a new skill, show somebody a uh, new way to build a deck, teach somebody how to shoot a basketball. I don't know, whatever it is. Try and get out there and make a difference in the world today. Make things just a little bit better. It's funny, some people wake up and they spend their entire day trying to figure out how to make things worse for people. But then, there's other people that are out there like, yeah, the dual brains trying to like do some good every day. You get up and make the world a better place. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's easy to be, it's easy to be a negative Nelly or a Debbie Downer or somebody who complains all the time. Do you know, like, that's low effort. That doesn't take any effort at all. Any like that. In fact, I think people do that just for, because they can't be creative enough to come up with something positive. But like, if you're willing to give it a shot and like put in some honest effort, you'd be amazed at the amount of people whose lives you can affect in a positive way, and you can help people with earning a living. You can help people get from A to B. A lot of people have problems they need a hand solving, and maybe not your problems are not the only most important problems out there in the world. People don't get rich by solving their own problems. All right. Do you like making money? Do you like tracking the prices of magic cards? You want to have some value in your collection? Let me do it for you. That seems to be a big problem in this day and age. Let's try and solve it. Let's try to put another different spin on things. Let's try and like come up with some kind of a discussion about the things that we can do to preserve the fun value in our Magic the Gathering collection, put us in a position to do some good in the world. It's funny. It's a good time. All right. How are you folks doing today? I got some. Let's just warm up this morning. If you're new to the show, maybe you haven't been here before. Maybe this is your first time tuning. Got to warm up. It's Monday. I got folks. I'm gonna be out of town on Wednesday, Thursday of this. I'm not gonna be around Wednesday, Thursday, so I probably won't have the bro show. I'm gonna be on a plane. I'm gonna be taking a flight, just a couple day trip. So I'll be gone on Wednesday, Thursday. So if you folks are used to tuning in on the Brody show, this is your notice here. I ain't gonna be around on Wednesday and Thursday. Let's check the chat. How is everybody doing? Everybody off to work this morning? Grumble Gumble. Astrid Media's in the house. Dual Brains here. Have we got, are we, are? No. Good. There he is. Keep buying those mint con horns. All right, we got Dual Brain, Astrid Media, Hamburger Aaron. I'm glad I'm glad you're here. I wanted a silent movie today. Definitely a Garfield day. Just gonna check up on the chats. Hamburger Aaron heading for work today. Astrid Media's in traffic. Glad. Watch out for those people changing lanes, hey? Some thugs show up at my door without a badge. I might came out. I might came out blasting or at least stabbing, but I would be way more demanding. Show up in the morning, right? Yeah, low effort. He made his wife cry. I'm right there with you, unless he did something nefarious to obtain the product. Either way, I blame Wizards for letting the product out early. Tommy Siddons, you can be second or third, right? You can be. How you doing? Bobby Siddons, thanks for or Tommy Siddons, thanks. I'm thinking Ricky Bobby again. Thanks, Tommy Siddons. Don't be sitting on the fence. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Hit the subscription button. It helps the channel grow. If you hit the like button, it'll get more like-minded people into the conversation. Or we could have just attract some trolls. You know, they could come over here and poke fun at me and all my shortcomings, right? That's okay. I'm a big guy. I got thick skin. Tougher than people think. It's funny what folks don't know about me, and I'll tell you, it's going to take a little bit more than that to upset the apple cart. Most people don't get my sense of humor, but what we're talking, what happened? The cops showed up. Benson's in the house. We're going to talk about it. It's going to be good. We're talking about private security showing up at fella's house for leaking some magic cards. But let's get into some AI here this morning, shall we? Let's take a look at some AI generated magic cards. I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy over the weekend. And man, is that, it reminds me of an age when movies were good movies. Like, I can't, like, if you look at Guardians of the Galaxy and the animation that was in that movie, it is so good. And it was like I'd say it's like the golden age of Marvel movies, or of like superhero movies, and that movie is just so good. And like the stuff that's coming out today, I hate to say it, excuse me, but it seems to be lacking in creativity, and the like shadowing and the artwork for the animated stuff doesn't seem to be as good as the Guardians of the Galaxy. So I could watch that movie just about as many times as I want. But let's get into some AI generated magic cards here this morning. Got a couple of rules to go over here. If there's any gibberish on the card, we fail it. You're going to hear this sound. Oh, yeah, let's turn it up. The buzzing from my cousin, right? Cousin Bob. And if it's a decent card, even if it's a little costed, you're going to hear this sound here. This is the sound of the dinger. Add up just. Here's the sound of the dinger. Yeah, if it's a decent card, we'll hear this card. Now check this out. Okay, speaking of Guardians, good example. This card's kind of funny. Got me thinking about the movie. Watch this. Take a look at this card here. Guardian of Eyes of Pearls the Rank. Guardian of Eyes of Rank. All right. Sacrifice Guardian of Eyes of Pearls the Rank. It's an Adam Ansel. Adam Ansel. Oh, gee. Sacrifice this creature. 3/2. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. That's a magic card. Straight up, easy enough. Can't say it isn't. Like, pretty basic, right? Standard. This is your standard magic card. The creativity, right? Some people are like just this creative. I kind of expect more from the AI, but that's okay. Let's check it out before we get into some news. How do you rate this? I think it's fair. Fair OP unplayable word salad. Let's give it a fair. All right. Other people. Wow, look at the art on this one. Angel kindled from Warrior. Angel kindled from Warrior. 6 mana for a planeswalker. Look at this. Why not? This seems okay. Magic card. Not. Elspeth mana. 2 white and 4 for the human artificer. This one's got miracle cost on it. Super cool. Y'all coming to the south? No, I'm not coming to the south. I wish I was. wouldn't have taken the videos down either, right? All right, quality control, eh? Quality control. Let's check out this card, Miracle. So you can cast this off the top of your deck. A Planeswalker with Miracle cost. So you can cast this Miracle X in a white. I see what they're trying to do here. This would be kind of okay. Right? Miracle for X and white. How does that work? Whenever an opponent casts a spell, counter it unless that player pays 3. Ooh, that's like the Nether Void for opponents. This seems really bad. Fail, Angel Kindled. How do you pay the miracle cost? Right? I don't know. I know it's X and a 1. Right? What does X get you? And then -2, create a 4/4 blue dragon artifact creature token with flying. That is so close to being good. If the miracle was just like a mana cost, is that supposed to be Elsmith, right? Like almost. Let's get it out of here. We can't have this. The miracle cost can't be paid. They need to fix that. Fair OP unplayable word salad. Let's go with unplayable. The miracle cost. I mean, short of that, unplayable. No, most people, 78% of people rate this as OP. I want it back to the choice, right? All right, interesting. What else we got here? Bell Breeze. This is an interesting art card. Like, look at the art on this sucker here. Bell Breeze. 1 black for a 0/2 human Rogu. Lifelink haste. When Spell Breeze enters the battlefield, exile all lands. Really? This thing's this thing is busted. Like, just exile all lands when this sucker enters the battlefield? That's incredible. For 1 black, you get a 0/2, and it's got lifelink and haste, human rogue. Wow, we gotta get a little bit more friggin' gotta get a little bit more value out of this for 1 mana. Exile all lands, lifelink haste. This thing's busted. There's nothing on it that says like it couldn't be a magic card. It costs a black. It's got lifelink. It's got haste. It's 0/2. It's a human rogue. It enters the battlefield exile. It's playable, but it's so overpowered. We're gonna pass it. Let's pass it. Give it a pass. Let's see what people rate this as. Fair, unplayable, word salad, OP. Overpowered for sure. Yeah, 89% of people say this card's way overpowered. Like, holy. Flame White Sage. Arachdos, instant. Target creature goes instant. Target creature goes instant. It just goes instant. That's what it does. It's like it's like that's what it does. It goes instant. Can you just go instant? I don't know. Let's fail it. Get it out of here. If that creature attacks a player other than you have able. I mean, the art on it's cool. The hand on this sage is instant. I actually expected a creature card out of this. I didn't expect it to be like an instant. How you doing? We're in the comment section. We're talking about. Have you seen the spoiler leaked footage? So there's some more leaks in Magic the Gathering, right? People leaking their pants, just like us live streamers sitting in our lawn chairs leaking cards to the public. Let's get it out of her. That's hell of a rouge, Bob. I'll play Spell Brews next Commander Raids game. Maybe it was going on for your next creature spell has flash. I think maybe that could likely be it, right? It might have been going for something a little bit different, but let's fail that. Let's get it out of here. Empty. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Nice. A plane chase card. Empty the throne, right? This is like flushing the bowl or turning off the stream over at, somebody else's place. Empty the throne. Have you ever been over to somebody's place and got to empty the throne? Here's the card. It's the empty throne. Plane abyss. It's a plane. It's a plane chase card. Not a battle, I don't think. Whenever a player casts a spell, put a chaos counter on the empty throne. Then, if the empty throne has 5 or more chaos counters on it, it deals 10 damage to each player. Howley! And then whenever you roll a dice, destroy target creature or planeswalker. Wow. Yikes. I don't know too much about plane chase cards, but this seems like it could be, you know, this could be a card. Whenever player casts a spell, put a chaos counter on the empty throne. If it has 5 or more counters on it, deals 10 damage to each player. Ugh. Does it do that once? I guess each time you put a counter on it. That seems brutal. Brutally powerful. Empty throne. Don't forget to empty the throne. All right. I think they were going for something a little bit different. Let's give it a let's be can we fair unplayable, overpowered, word salad. This seems expensive. What do you folks want to rate this? Tried Plane Chase for the first time yesterday. It was fun. Departure from normal EDH. Yeah, the first time I saw anybody playing Plane Chase, I was super interested. I was like, what are these extra giant magic cards? Size that come out the back of the cereal box. And all these big Plane Chase cards. I thought it was neat. And then somebody explained it to me. This is going back to 5 or 6 years ago. And like to see a recursion of Plane Chase and people like, getting behind it again is pretty interesting. Let's give this card a pass. Why not? Seems like something hard to deal with and a little bit difficult. Trending on here's one more magic card here this morning here for you folks. A waste, basic land. Nothing special here. The art's fine. It's more of this digital art. Let's give that one a pass. Boros Warbop. This is like the Hanson brothers, right? War bop, 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 boop. Yeah, give me down now. Now you guys are gonna be singing that song and you're gonna be cursing my name all day long for getting some war bop into your heads. 2/2 intimidate our zombie archer. I think intimidate. What's intimidate? MTG intimidate can't be blocked by creatures other than have intimidate. Is intimidate a mechanic? Like fear? Is it like shadow? I think it is. Could be wrong. Help me out here, somebody. Solar God, Fluck Watsy. The playable 2-drop. No, Brody, no. Don't say you say. Give you some more some metal there this morning, Prime. Or Bob. Okay, let's give you some what is intimidate? Is I can't remember. I want to say it's an actual magic mechanic, but do we know playable 2-drop? Intimidate can't be blocked by creatures that ones that have fear, but for the color it shares. Yes, it is that. It's like fear, right? Cool. Give it a thank you, Tommy. I figured it was. It's just I don't want to like misplay here on the morning show, right? Sure, making a mistake, get ridiculed, out there in the world. There's enough ridicule going on as it is. Okay, so that's decent. There's one last card here. Blood Season. Blood Season can't block 3/2 fairy when Blood Season enters the battlefield until end of turn. Each creature blocks each combat. If able, 2 for a 3/2. That's a pretty sweet card. 2 for a 3/2. It should have flying though. Sadly enough, it doesn't have flying. I'd like it to have flying. Can it fly? It can't fly. Enters the battlefield. Each creature blocks it. You got to block if you can. You can't just take the damage. All right, you get your death touchers out. Why not? This seems fine. All right, so let the memes begin just for you folks watching at home over on the Twitter. Just regarding the follow-up to the time walk incident where Brody tried to tell the fella, actually Jesper Murfors had a pretty interesting article. I'd almost like to read it for I Photoshop ultimate low effort living cards end into a magic card every single day until the account unblocks me and lets me enjoy magic at the movies or apologize because I tried to save you or I don't day one. So I thought it was kind of funny. Uh-huh. Check the price of Hasbro stock here this morning. What's the price of Hasbro stock looking like? Hasbro stock price $51.69. All right. Well, what do we know? April 27th is the earnings report that's going to be coming out. Should be interesting. See if there's any actual here's an interesting article. Have you guys ever heard of Jesper Murfors? Here's an interesting I don't know if this is actually real or based or what, but let's take a look here. Yeah, what is this? What does Jesper Murfors say? This is based on my observation regarding the Rings of Power, Disney Star Wars, The Witcher, The Wheel of Time, etc. So if you guys have ever heard of Jesper Myrfors, if you're new to Magic, he was the art director for Magic the Gathering. He was the fellow who actually rallied the first sets of artists in Magic the Gathering to design cards and put the art to the canvas for the original sets of Magic cards. And this, I suspect this is an actual post. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's hearsay. But either way, I kind of, uh, I kind of like what this post has to say. A creator with actual talent spends years carefully filling a pool with a thimble in an effort to make sure everything is perfect. A pool so pure and clean that one can drink from it and feel refreshed. They create something of value, something others also appreciate. Most importantly, something now worth money. Along comes a person or persons with dollar signs in their eyes and an ego that far outstrips their ability to create anything meaningful by orders of magnitude. That person or persons buys or licenses the original creator's creation, thus giving them access to that crystal clear pool, may I remind you, had been carefully and over years filled with a thimble. They stand looking at the pool and realize that it's a lot of work to fill it with a thimble. Where does a person even find a thimble? They could go look at it, but why bother? Then, blinded by greed and arrogance, they piss in the water, thinking their addition of a slightly acidic waste product secreted by the kidneys and expelled through the urethra somehow adds to the property and changes it for the better. They believe that their uncontrolled torrent of urine somehow coattails them into the original creation of the property, that they are now a creative, and that they should be praised for filling the pool faster. They unveil their new and improved version of the property, and they have the nerve to feel insulted when few people want to drink from it anymore, let alone look at it. It's like buying an expensive performance automobile, driving into a wall, and expecting people to tell you what a great driver you are and how much better the car looks now that it's crumpled wreck. So I found that kind of an interesting post. If it's by the actual Jesper Murfors, I would say maybe he's actually based. What do you folks think? My response to the fella who decided to upscale and clean up and improve the original Time Walk art, I sort of thought of that. I had to make a little bit of a meme, try to get on with my day. Thought it was kind of funny. Waiting for earnings reports. From the most part, from what I have heard, is that the earnings report will be coming out on the 27th, and it's definitely going to be a loss for this quarter. I find that kind of interesting. And this is another for all you Harley motorcycle owners out there. And yes, guess what? Brody's part of the Harley owners group. Yeah, I ride a Harley. I do. I don't, I'm not like, not riding a bicycle to work. I do have a Harley that I ride. I'm probably hoping to get that out for a cruise this summer. So this actually means something to me, right? Like you know, what do you guys ride in, right? I'm actually a Harley owner and I do ride one. I'm gonna probably I want to stick a couple Black Lotuses in the spokes and go for a rip around the block, right? We can't all ride a bicycle to work with a with a with training wheels on it and a little basket like our friend Mike does. But that's okay. This one has a motor on it, but the look at this article here. The Harley Davidson's chief financial officer has decided to step down and join the toy maker Hasbro. Interesting article. April 12th, the motorcycle maker Harley Davidson said on Wednesday that the CFO, Gina Getter, was leaving the company at the end of April, and the toy maker Hasbro Inc. said, the toy maker Hasbro said she would take over as its finance chief. Harley issued a statement saying that Vice President Treasurer David Vinny will serve as interim CFO after Getter's departure on April 28th. Shares of the company were down 2.8% in extended trading after falling more than 6% on Wednesday. You know, there was a time when Harleys were like really cool, and I think they like that's not going to change, but like the direction of the company and like the branding and the merchandising, it went nutters. It went nutter butters. So, and I haven't really actually bought a lot of Harley products since. Kind of gets a little. What kind of hog you got? I got a pretty nice. I got a pretty nice hog. I do. Going to work. I'll catch you later. Astrid me. Yeah, you bet. I got a pretty nice bike. I got a real nice one. I got a Screaming Eagle. I got a Springer. It's a little hopper. It gets me around. Walter Griffith, how you doing, Walter? Nice for you to join us here this morning. Happy Monday. Anger Collections is in the house. Solar God is here. Solar, nice to see you. We got some folks. Thanks for stopping by. Hit that button. I appreciate you. We're just talking about the earnings report that's going to come due. Thinking of getting my bike on the road and just go for a cruise here as soon as the weather turns nice and we got to get some power sweeping done. Right now, all the roundabouts are filled with gravel and it's like a little bit of a slipping hazard. You also got people that drive on the. See, this is the other thing too. Like until you own a motorcycle, you don't really pay attention and look for motorcycle riders, right? You just like you don't see them, right? It's like you gotta keep your eyes out for those people. You might hit some gravel, spray it up. It's easy to slip. Kind of interesting. All right, let's get to the main Damie here this morning, right? Actually, no. Yes, no, yes, no. Okay, here's your movers and the shakers. You got to get to work, Astrid Media. Let's switch it up. You folks want to have the movers and the shakers in the middle of the show, so let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving and shaking here. We're going to do the movers and the shakers here this morning for you. It's Monday, and this is April 24th. This is your movers and the shakers for Monday. Let's take a look here. These are your movers and the shakers this morning. If you like tracking the prices of Magic cards, if you find there's enough information out there, or maybe there's just too much information for you, let me do it for you. I'm doing it each and every morning here on the Bro Show. I'm doing it anyway. You might as well tune in and see what's moving and what's shaking. It's Monday. It's Modern Monday. Are you going to Modern Monday this morning? Let me know in the comment section what you got going on. So let's look here. Gemstone Caverns coming up at the top of the list. 6% tick up in price. Here's a card that's been on the movers and the shakers list before. It's had plenty of reprints, but this is the Time Spiral version. $56.45. This is something like a hit that you can open in the list. It's actually on the list. I had my buddy Samalama. Shout out to Sama. Samalama. He hit one of these Time Spiral remastered, time shifted version. The time shifted version is still worth $52. Like it's actually pretty comparable in price. There's like no real difference between the time shifted and like the regular Time Spiral. Price maybe $4. If you can hit a foil version of this card, it's a land. Let's read the card. If it's in your opening hand and you're not the starting player, like I have a deck that just revolves around bad luck. Like I do have a deck that's built with this card. Like Magic is a silly little game some days. You can't win a dice roll. Sometimes you don't hit your pairings. Like On pre-release, I think I didn't win a dice roll until my third or fourth game of the night. Some days you can't even win a dice roll, and going first can be the difference between like winning and losing, right? Some days you can't even get lucky, right? So this card, it says if it's in your opening hand and you're not the starting player, you may begin the game with Gemstone Caverns on the battlefield with a luck counter on it. If you do, exile a card from your hand. So it's good in pairs. If you got two of these in your hand, you can start with one and exile the other. I don't know. Some people say you don't want to play more than one copy, but myself, I've played up to three, and it doesn't feel too bad. It feels bad late game when you're drawing it. If you already have one on the battlefield, it's a legendary land. So that means you can't have two of them. But if you have two in your opening hand, you can just pitch one to the other one and then tap it for a colorless mana. And if it has a luck counter on it, instead, you can add one mana of any color to your mana pool. So it's mana fixing. I usually play this in a blue deck just because there's not a lot of ramp in blue and there's a way to steal the draw or steal the play from your opponents. And it feels really good to be sitting across the table after winning the dice roll, and everybody's all popped up and ready to start playing Magic cards, and then you're like, "But wait, Brody, I have pre-game effects," and then like you just look at the look on their face and go, "Oh, what do you mean you have pre-game effects? Well, you mean you don't have any pre-game effects?" And then they're like, "Yeah, what do you got?" I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna just start with this Gemstone Caverns on the battlefield and exile a card from my hand." And then they're like, I guess did. And then I like, okay, now you can go. So I guess you just stole the play, right? But let's see what decks are using it. Let's look at this chart. Brody wants to put lines on charts. I do like writing the lines on the charts. I want to look and see if we got any patterns. Look at some of these patterns here. Like I think we all might even like a bit of a cup and handle pattern starting to form here.
Buy low, sell high, that's my motto. I may just quit my job at the power plant and become a full-time stock market guy.
All right, let's just quit our jobs, right? Let's quit our jobs and just become a full-time stock market guy. Let's look at the cup and handle pattern that we have here. This seems like a decent card. Got a bit of a flag pattern happening here. A couple ticks up in price, one right here. All-time high on Gemstone Caverns looks like $62 right here. It's been as high as 62 before. When did this get printed first? All the way back in the first time spiral? Yes. Mirrored and besieged. Right? All right. Time spiral. Let's roll this back here. Pretty bullish chart. I mean, I don't know if this card's gonna ever see the highs of $62 again. It could very well, but like let's look at the all-time high of this card. Right about here. $62. Decent card. Tonight's going to be a blast. Prime 406 games. What are you guys doing tonight? Do tell. What do you guys got in store? What you guys doing? It's Monday. What could you be doing? Going to play some Magic cards? Deck's using it. Crashing Footfalls is playing the Gemstone mine. Really? Gemstone Caverns? Let's see here. The lands. Two Gemstone Caverns in the Crashing Footfalls. So this is definitely a reason why this card is seeing some price action. If the deck actually wins or top eights in a major tournament, this one actually was third place, so 10, 2 and 1. So 10 wins, 2 losses and a draw. That's actually pretty good. That's at Star City Games SCG Con Richmond on Saturday, 20K RC. Let's just head over to MTG Top 8 because this is the show where we tie it all together, right? Yeah, we do. We do. We tie it all together here. We're going to look at the top 8. Let's see here. Yes, RC, we got some new stats. So here's the tournament people are talking about. It's this one right here, right at the top of the list. Let's look. There's a 20K regional qualifier in Richmond at Star City Games. That one, there's also a 20K with 4 slots at Laughing Dragons, but look at Cascade Crash is 9% of the metagame. The other 13% highest portion of the metagame is Blue Red or Murktide. So let's just take a look at the standings, because Rakdos aggro hit the matchups, so that looks good. Rakdos aggro taking first place in this 20K with 264 modern players. This happened on the 15th, so a week ago. A bit of a week late, but this is, now that this is showing up on MTG Top 8, you might see some of these cards in these top decks end up in the movers and the shakers list, and that's what we're seeing here. So got Rakdos aggro, Dothy the Voidwalker, Fury, Grief, Croxa the Titan of Death Hunger, and of course Ragavan the Nimble Tearflarer, and then Season Pyromancer. Is Fury an elemental? Yes. Is Grief an elemental? Yes. So these elementals are darn good. These, and with like the new Nissa that's getting spoiled. Sorry, I didn't mean to spoil it. Sorry, not sorry, but we know we're gonna get to that a little bit later. The new Nissa that can actually, maybe get ourselves, gets elementals, doesn't it? That it got elementals. We'll see. So Fury, Grief, Croxa, and Ragavan all in the top deck, but it's this deck here, the third one from the top, that went third. It went 10, 2, and 1. This Crashing Footfalls deck that's got a couple of copies of the Gemstone Caverns. Yes, right here. Definitely reason for it making top 8, and it's showing up here on the movers and the shakers here today with a little tick up in price for the Gemstone Caverns, top of the list. All right, that checks out. This checks out. Solid. Okay, Brody's done the sniff test here. It checks out. Gemstone Caverns. It's in a top 8. It's in a top 3 deck from a major 20K RCQ over past weekend. So that's definitely a hit. Who else? Oh, battle over DJs. You guys are doing a battle tonight. We're going to be blasting at. Can you put a link to the? Yeah, I guess so. We can put. I'll send you a pic of mine on Discord. Cool. All right, what else we got on the movers and the shakers? Breeding pool. All right, breeding. Sometimes the pool could use a little chlorine. All right, let's check it out. Breeding pool, forest land. I think maybe crashing. What do we got here? Breeding pool. Yes, one breeding pool in the Footfalls deck. It's amazing to see how, here it is here. It's amazing to see how, like, when a deck top 8s, if it pushes some cards directly into the movers and the shakers, it's a good place to check, to give it a test, to see if it's like speculation or if it makes no sense whatsoever. Breeding pool, another dual lands. Yes, the Crashing Footfalls deck's using it 4-colored Omnath. And I'm like waiting to see if there's going to be a new metagame shift with this 5-color Omnath that comes out. I'm really excited to see if that actually dethrones the 4-color Omnath deck. Living End, Domain Zoo, Attracts a Predator's Voice, Hitting Stirrings. These are all decks using it. Chroma's Memorial. Here's a cool card. Where's this one getting played? 7 mana, legendary artifact. Creatures you control have flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste, and protection from red and black. No rest, no mercy, no matter what. That's the inscription on the memorial. All right, let's check it out. 7 mana. Where are we using it? Probably Commander. Yeah, it's definitely in the Joda the Unifier deck. Let's Yada Font of Hope. On a what deck? Let's look at Joda deck using it in Commander. This is the 5-color Commander. Legendary creatures you control get XX, where X is the number of legendary creatures you control. Whenever you cast a legendary spell from your hand, exile the cards from the top of your library until you exile a legendary non-land card with lesser mana value. May cast that card without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So this legendary artifact that is Chroma's Memorial is legendary artifact. So this sucker, you play it for 7, and then with Joda, you get to rip cards off the top and cast something that costs less for free. Freebies. We like free stuff every day. Let's take a look at the chart on a Chroma's Memorial card. I don't have this card. When did it come out? Other printing. Magic 2013. This is an old card. It was also added to the list. I got to pour myself another cup of tea here. This card is my cup of tea. I haven't seen Michael Superbacker yet today. Hope he's doing okay. Hopefully he's doing all right. The list makes it for 21 bucks. 21 bucks for the list. That's the cheapest version. 29 for the 21 as well for it's amazing how these list cards hold up, eh? Like this one is the same as the original M13 printing, the list. Definitely a card that's got some demand. Stock on it, yeah, there's plenty of them in the store. It gets us an anthem for creatures, gives them all kinds of abilities. Mycosynth Golem. Here's a card. I mean, if you opened, this is a good card. It's expensive now. I think we talked about this on the morning show like a couple of months before it spiked. This is a card from Fifth Dawn, and if you open anything from Fifth Dawn, you might go just search through your bulk and find this guy because it wasn't much more than a couple of months ago that we saw this card for just a $10 bill here. Yeah, like it was 10 or 20 bucks, but it's doubled in price. This little Mycosynthy Golem me taking a big leg up in price. Let's look at the chart on it. Definitely a flag on the play here. Taking a spike up in price here. Right here. I'd say this could probably see another leg up in price in the future because this is the second leg up, and usually they come in threes. If you haven't bought it yet, I wouldn't go buying it now because it's had one price leg up here. This is the second leg up. It might take a third leg up in price. But definitely the money's already been made at this point. I wouldn't rush out buying it, trying to flip it. I mean, if you desperately need it for an artifacts deck, go ahead and pick it up for playing. Don't buy more than one copy, but a card that could possibly see a reprint in the future. And it's definitely going to see one more leg up in price. This is a 11 mana 4/5. What? That seems terrible, Brody. Tell me more about it. There's got to be more to this story. Affinity for artifacts. So it costs one less for each artifact you control, and it gives artifact creature spells you are playing affinity. So it gives your stuff affinity. Decks using it? Well, that's the Urtet deck. Urtet, Remnant of the Menarch. Definitely a card. Robert O'Brien, reprint inbound. How you doing, Robert? Nice to see you there this morning. Thanks for joining us. It's Monday, right? We're having a case of the Mondays here. I hope your weekend was good. Man, my weekend was quick. Like it didn't last. I was busy. I went from one thing to another, especially on yesterday. I had a meeting to go to. Love me some reprints, right? Ugh. Yeah, it's definitely Monday, Rob. A case of the Mondays. All right, let's check it out. That's some chicken nuggets, Robert Walter Griffin. That's hilarious. Like some chicken nuggets? All right. Let's go on. Let's move on to these are your movers and shakers. Scalding Tarn, another land. It's something top 8. I think the red. Yeah, Scalding Tarn's always be good if it is in the format. Right? Murktide's using it. Yes, Murktide, Indomitable Creativity. Kind of interested to see. Let's just jump over to top 8 for a second. Creativity deck by Daryl Ayers, like the Creativity deck. It got 4th place, and I just want to see what the win condition is. Okay, it is the Archon of Cruelty. Because I know the Reed Duke guy ended up using World Spine Worm as his finisher. And we've since then gone back to the classic Archon. Nice to see. The 8 mana 6/6 Archon. But again, this Scalding Tarn should be in there. Scalding Tarn? Yes, 4 copies of Scalding Tarn in the deck. So any of these decks, 4-color Omnath, Rakdos Scam, and Murktide, any of these decks that if you're wondering why cards are spiking, you got to check. three places to check, okay? If you guys haven't heard it already, when cards are spiked, if you're gonna check the movers and the shakers yourself, say you're like, Brody, you didn't cover anything else but modern on Monday. I want to look at the rest of the movers and the shakers. So what you got to do is like look at the movers and say you want to look at legacy, right? And you're like, Brody, because I'm gonna check it. I just do one a day for you folks, just so you can, I can show you what my morning routine is like. So like every day I get up, I check the prices of magic cards. I check the movers and the shakers. I see what's moving. If something is of interest has made it onto the movers and the shakers list, I go straight to top 8 and I check to see if there was a tournament that was won recently and if that card was in it. And we can see definitely from today's list, Gemstone Caverns, Breeding Pool, and the Scalding Tarn are sure targets. The other Achroma's Memorial, that one's more of a commander card. And the Golem is also a commander card with the Urtet Memnard. So then where do you go from there? You want to kind of know why these cards are moving. What you do is you can go to eBay and you can check sold listings. I do that primarily with the big money cards just to see how many copies of get into the legacy stuff. And I want to like when the financial risk is a lot higher to buy some of the older expensive cards, like say a Lord of the Pit or maybe some uh something a dual land or something on the legacy, like an older card. I want to check to make sure like what is the medium price for the selling on eBay and what are the last ones sold. And then like finally, as I'm checking the movers and shakers and something's spiking, I want to come down and check. Let's check this other Voldalkin Orrery. I want to check down at the very bottom and I want to check TCG Player and the other vendor stores here. I want to take a look right here to see what kind of stock they have at like the major stores like Card Kingdom. And then I want to also see like what eBay sellers are selling it for and if there's like a spike in the price. And I want to see if there's any anomaly listed on Player where somebody might have just made a pricing mistake and priced it for too high, like in one of these categories on one of these platforms. Somebody could just price it for whatever they want. So those are the places we got to check on any of these cards of interest. So Vidalcan Orrery, you may cast spells as though they had flash. I think this didn't get banned, did it? No, it didn't. Legacy legal, modern legal, vintage legal, commander legal. This was a pretty cool card. I think it even got a reprint. Yes, got a reprint in the double masters. But no, it was the what's the one that got printed in Kaladesh? Really good. It gave all your artifacts improvised. And then there was the Panharmonicon, and there was one that gave all your artifacts improvised. That was pretty good. And like this guy, the Ori gives all you may cast spells as though they had flash. This is all spells. So this is like even like a ley line of anticipation, the one that gives you like the ability to play at instant speed, everything. Good card. You may play online cards at any time you can play an instant. I'll tell you what, do you know what card has been making headlines and like um let's check it out. Liberator. Let's see, Liberator versus Battlethopter. That's a card. Okay, so there was I want to see the Battlethopter. This Liberator versus Battlethopter. Here's a card that I was my pick for CEDH. I think this card is going to be like a competitive EDH commander, one of the better ones out there. I think this is going to my Brody's pick, okay? And I said it was that was spoiled. I started playing it with as soon as it came out, and I think like I want to build a deck around it. I'm going to say that this card here, the Liberator or is a Battlethopter, is going to be like one of the better commanders in competitive play. And I was trying to find a little bit on the Twitter for you folks because I started to see a little bit of tournament results come in for the Liberator. I'm just wish wish it was coming up, but it's not exactly coming up on my feed just now. Here, look at this here. Planning on building a Liberator as Battle Thoughter, please don't forget about the Celestas card that goes with it. Neither day or night, it becomes day as the Celestus enters the battlefield. Add 1 mana of any color. If it's night, it becomes day. Otherwise, it becomes night. Activate the sorcery. Whenever it becomes day or night, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. So this Liberator is seeing some action in the world of EDH because it gives all your artifact spells flash. And then I can't help but think that it's really good because you can cast it for like one off of a workshop. So that's pretty good. And then if you can also, I guess you may pay non-land cards anytime you can play an instant. So like the Orrery kind of goes in the Battle Thopter deck just because you can now cast your sorceries at instant speed. You can cast your non-creature spell or your non-artifact creature spells with flash as well. You can cast your enchantments at flash speed, cast anything at flash speed. So a little bit of an interesting interaction with the Orrery. I don't see it listed here as being played with the Urza Battlethopter in EDH, but give it time. I think we're going to see a little bit more support and love for the Battlethopter. Makes me just think of the Orrery when I see it. Cavern of Souls. Yeah, this card's like going to see. This is a reprint equity if I've ever. Definitely an expensive card. $60, something you get open. Monday's here. Maybe we're going to name. What are we naming with Cavern of Souls these days? I know Brody names Monday, right? What are we naming? Giants. I like it with giants, humans, wizards. This is a land card. It's good. If you open one of these, don't be so hesitant to give it away. Keep it. It's a good card. It's even been printed. I think it's on the list. Yes, it's even on the list. So if this is one of those cards where like people will open it on the list and say, "Well, it doesn't seem that good," and then get rid of it. But you know, if you're going to be playing competitively, this is definitely a good card. As it comes into play, choose a creature type. You can tap it for a mana of any color. Then you can tap it to add a mana of any color that can be spent to cast creature chosen type, and that spell cannot be countered. So it makes yourself impervious to the blue mages that want to try and counter your stuff. Dirty busters. So let's see here. Amulet Titan, yes, Giants is playing it. Definitely. Like I like the Amulet Titan's playing it for naming the Primeval Titan, the giant. I'm also playing it in a lands deck, a legacy build with Uro. Well, it was playing it in a lands build with Uro. And then Titans playing it, Merfolk's playing it. Omnath is playing it with Elementals. Mono White Initiative, Doomsday. You want to play that with the Thassa's Oracle? Oh, you dirty. Because you got to protect that combo a little bit more, right? Dirty combo players. Dragon is playing at Eldrazi Tron, so you can name Eldrazi. That's pretty good. Vampires and Edgar Markov. So, like, if you're new to Magic and you're like, get this card in your list pack, you should be excited about it. Like, this is an underwhelming card to open. Like, anytime I've seen anyone open it, they're like, Cavern of Souls, I guess, and they don't seem excited. But, like, to me, that's a good hit. It's $60. It's a little underwhelming because it's like not a creature. It's just one of those high value lands that could up in a pack. Got a lot of uses and especially competitive. So it's good sideboard tech against blue players. It's even good in the main board depending on the build. What else we got? Urza Saga coming in today at $32. This saga is so darn good. I don't have a single disclaimer. I don't have a single saga. I wish I did. I need a saga. I'm not wearing my sagas. I'm wearing slippers. I'm not wearing my flippers. Huh. You know what I don't like? Sagas with holes in them so your toes poke out. Let's check it out. Sagas and sandals. Do you guys wear sagas and sandals? This is a good card. It can be used and abused in many different ways. You can use Thespian Stage to copy it. That's some of the latest tech, I guess. Let's take a look at the Thespian Stage. Thespian. Papa Thespian. Thespian Stage. So Thespian Stage is a land that plays in the lands deck, and I was really hoping the lands deck would get a little better because like lately the lands deck has been sucking and people have actually been pulling them apart. The Legacy lands deck used to be like top of the pile, king of the hill, rule number one, just so good. Used the Thespian Stage to copy the Dark Depths. Now it just seems that there's like way better cards in the meta game. Um, so like the Thespian Stage is something that says 2 mana, tap it, becomes a copy of target land, except it has this ability, and then you can copy this enchantment, the Urza land, the Saga. You can copy it, but you got to be like, so it becomes a land and gains this ability, and then like it, I think it just keeps triggering because like it's a land, it's not a saga anymore. So you want to like time it, timing rules around when you want to copy this sucker, because then you can keep getting the construct tokens. So like you copy the land on second activation, and then Urza Saga gains 2, create a construct token with this creature gets a +1/+1 for each artifact you control. So like depending on the timing when you copy the Urza Saga with the Thespian Stage, you might just be able to do one of these things over and over and over again. So the Urza Saga becomes kind of busted. It becomes really good, especially in Legacy or um, even in Vintage, I guess, is now being played. Paradoxical Outcomes playing it. Cephalid Breakfast is playing it. Let's take a look at the Blue Tinker deck. No, Cephalid. It's breakfast time. Let's take a look at the Cephalid Breakfast. Cephalid Illusionist. This card, whenever Cephalid Illusionist becomes a target of spell or ability, put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. 3 and tap it. This turn, prevent all combat damage that will be dealt to and dealt by target creature control. So it's like just like milling stuff. Narcomoebia, Thassa's Oracle, Triumph of St. Catherine. I'm going to have to take another look at this deck to figure out the inner workings of it. The play pattern of this seems a little bit new to me. Redirect 1 damage from Nomads on core to a creature control. Whenever Cephalid Illusion becomes the target of spell or abilities, put the top 3. Okay, so you use the Nomads, target Cephalid Illusionist, then you mill stuff, and then you like put stuff into your graveyard to try and get to the Thassa's Oracle. Just Cabal Therapy, sack stuff. You just want to mill everything into mill yourself. Orum's Chant. Here's a decent card. Oh, it's a white. Target player can't play spells this turn. If you play the kicker cost, creatures can't attack. Orum's Chant is another version of Silence that's pretty crazy. All right, so there is a saga on your movers and the shakers list. Scalding Tarn, yeah, we've seen 2 versions of it. And the Temple Garden here, these are your movers and your shakers here this morning. Don't forget, when you're
Buy low, sell high, that's my motto. I may just quit my job at the power plant and become a full-time stock market guy.
don't forget when you're going through the movers and the shakers list, do your homework, cross-reference each and everything when you're when like just like I showed you folks, check the top 8 to make sure the metagame confirms the reason the card is going up. If you're thinking of buying it or even selling it, I mean, you can use this either way. If you're buying cards or selling cards, you know, you want to look at sell. Right now, there's some stuff like if you're selling copies of Mycosith Golem, I'd rather be on that side of the trade than on buying it right now. But let's take a look at this article here for you folks this morning. Most of March of the Machines Aftermath has been leaked in a YouTube box opening, and there's a bit of follow-up conversation that's happening about that one. And if you want to avoid seeing Magic the Gathering newest cards early, maybe avoid the internet for the next few weeks, like that's possible. So this is, as far as I can tell, there's been a little bit of chatter about it, and I did get a chance to go over to old school MTG website because he's the fellow who posted some openings of this new Aftermath product. Now, I didn't get to see the videos because they are now taken down. You probably won't find them either. I don't know if they're going to be able to put them back up after the set actually gets released, but this is like there's so I guess there's new terminology we got to get straight. There's spoilers, but then there's leaks, right? And it's like, we saw the staged Hasbro dumps in the dumpster, and then we've had leaks of cards like a pack here or a pack there before. But this is actually like the really interesting story, because the fella, old school MTG, if you go to his website, he's got a follow up video there that says how it happened and what happened, and explains exactly what happened. The Hasbro actually, let's read this. The vast majority of Magic the Gathering's next set has been leaked online after a YouTuber managed to get his hands on a number of collector booster boxes. Now, according to the YouTuber Old School MTG, he says that he bought them from another source who was sent the wrong products by Wizards of the Coast himself, because the boxes look similar to the mark. Like if you look at the label, like March of the Machine, and then it says the Aftermath, the labeling and the packaging, like the actual logoing, is the exact same as March of the Machine. It's just got the Aftermath on there. So it could be like a picking issue, people picking the product wrong off the shelf, just be like, oh yeah. But I don't know that there is any confirmation that there was anything nefarious going on and products getting stolen. But nevertheless, the Aftermath is a mini set follow up to the release of March of the Machine, tying up the story and exploring the multiverse following the defeat of the new Phyrexian invasion. Unfortunately, almost 3/4 of the set's been leaked ahead of formal reveal on May the 1st. Okay. Another nail in the coffin for Wizards of the Coast as we head towards April 27th, where they're going to have their earnings report, like the big kids. Like if you're just if you don't live in the real world, maybe you maybe you just keep your head down and you go, "Oh, let the big kids figure it out." The adults, the people who run the world and run the companies and file the reports. You know, uh, there's sort of like a problem with folks in my generation. They just like they don't get involved in stuff. They think that somebody else is gonna figure it out for them, and they don't actually take the initiative to get involved in the world. They just like sit in a lawn chair and expect big kids to figure out the world for them, right? It's like they're still riding a bike to work, basket on the front of it, and just wondering why things aren't changing and going in the direction that better than it was 20 years ago, because like there's no initiative, right? So like let's take a look here. Why is the direction of Wizards of the Coast taking the direction that it is because like good people stand by and do nothing. Magic the Gathering Arena, everything in the March of the Machine mystery pass, posting a video of the box opening on YouTube. Old School MTG claims he was sold the boxes by a friend who mistakenly thought they were collector boosters from the full March of the Machine set. Old School claims that he to have 22 of these boxes, although only opened one on camera. So here's some spoilers here this morning. It's leaks. These are leaks, different than spoilers. Tutorial voice of Zalfir, this 3/3. These are some of the ones that we saw a little earlier. And then Kenrith Royal Funeral. This is an enchantment. When Kenrith's Royal Funeral enters the battlefield, exile up to 2 target legendary creatures from your graveyard. You draw X cards and you lose X life, where X is the greatest mana value among creatures exiled this way. Legendary spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each creature exiled with Kenrith's Royal Funeral. So like big kids in the world are now making decisions, like directions of companies. They're doing earnings report. They're large amounts of money getting transferred around in the world, and I feel like you uh haven't really noticed like this stuff seems to take on a mind of its own. As the March of the Machine Aftermath is only a 50 card mini set, the video shows off around 75% of the total cards, despite each pack only having 6 cards in them. Wow, they're only 6-card packs? This includes reprints, brand new cards yet to be formally revealed, as well as a large number of legendary creatures. While we won't be sharing any leaked cards here, we did pull multiple copies of the 2 cards Wizards has already shown off. Kenril's Royal Funeral and Joriel Voice of Zalfir. A few details about March of the Machine's Aftermath had already been released by Wizards of the Coast before this leak. In the box shots released Karn Sarkhan Volume Nissa and Nahiri, both uncompleted following March of the Machine, are shown alongside a symbol that many are theorizing means the planeswalkers have lost their spark and become unable to travel the multiverse. This suggests a large part of the Aftermath story will be focused on the desparked planeswalkers and how they cope with the loss of their powers. So Marks to the Machine epilogue boosters shown here. Magic leaks have happened quite frequently with sets like Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate. I remember that. We made the Balderdash video. And giving a large amounts of their set list leaked ahead of time. Earlier this year, Wizards has put out a statement regarding this leak of Phyrexia All Will Be One, saying it was going to preserve the preview experience by not further acknowledging the leaks. Okay, so this is where things get interesting. Wizards of the Coast sent the Pinkerton security detail over to the fella's house to retrieve the products. Of course, the most infamous leak in the history happened in 2011 when the entirety of the new Phyrexia was leaked after the set list was sent to the French magazine Lotus Noir. That leak resulted in the suspension of former pro players Guillaume Matillon and Guillaume Wafotapa. Through the March of the Machine Aftermath leak isn't quite that scale. It isn't too far off thanks to the smaller size of the set. Wizards has yet to comment on the leak of the Aftermath. However, with such a huge spoiler, it remains to be seen if there will still be a preview season for it in May 1st or 2nd. After managing to keep March of the Machine relatively watertight, it's a shame to see the final chapter in this story to be blown wide open in such an unceremonious way. And if you folks didn't hear about it as well, if you go over to old school, let's go there. Okay, let's go there. Because this guy needs a little bit. It's like people are still taking matters into their own hands now, right? They're like, all right, we're going to spoil these. This is the fella here, old school MTG. He's got the logo here. He's got the Aftermath. Let's take a look here. He's got the boxes. Aftermath, everything is gone. And then this is it's a follow-up video from old school where he discusses what exactly happened in the aftermath of the aftermath of the aftermath. Put that link below. If you guys want to check it out, please do so. I'll put a link there. You can hear old school MTG tell his story about what happened uh, there on his channel. I think it's kind of interesting to see. So what do you folks think? Is this the beginning of a new age of spoilers? Is there quality control and security issues? Is this sort of like blacking out the windows in the quality control department? Is there going to be changes made in Wizards supply chain and how these interesting it's and looking at the comments here, Tommy Sidden says, "Yeah, this set is a huge dud." Prime 406 says, "For evil to rise, it takes good men to do nothing." And I had a few boxes on pre-order of the Aftermath, but canceled it all with this set when this one came out. Fantalio is not buying it, not having any. Tommy Sidden says, "I also don't think it does anything to spoil the story. If anything, it makes the story worse since many people wanted bloodshed. And I want a set where it's like a mystery, like mystery boosters." Yeah, and like this comment that I brought up from Yester Mirfors, it's like, you know, it seems like Wizards is doing just about anything. It could be like, you never know. I mean, the fact that they sent security to pick up the cards from the fella's house, I mean, I'm pretty sure that means that it's not a planned leak. It just goes to show that like things are changing in this day and age. Things are moving really fast. Cryptocurrency is a thing. Web 3.0 is a thing. You can now buy magic cards with on your browser. There's more sets coming out than ever. The banks are starting to fail, and this ESG component that Hasbro has tucked right into their business model is starting to give some backlash in the world of finance, and it's starting to affect the Hasbro stock price. Like things are kind of on one leg over there at Hasbro. Seems like a bit of a unicycle where like you've got the folks who are out there willing to champion the cause in hopes that they're going to be getting good promos and rewards from Wizards of the Coast. But I think at this point, Wizards of the Coast will take any fan base that they can get, so long as they will champion their products to the point to their own detriment. That's kind of where I'm at. The earnings report are going to be interesting when it comes out because the folks are saying that 43 cents a share is the target price for Hasbro. It's going to probably keep going down until then. Hasbro's been definitely making plea to big banks and investors, investment firms, in order to buy their stock and boost their truth and justice rating with banks who do business that way. But that hasn't panned out too well for any of the banks already this year, including Silicon Valley Bank, Credit Suisse, and any of the banks that have been failing in the last little bit. So it's going to be an interesting year to say the least. Leaks are coming out. Could it be disgruntled employees? Maybe there's some internal friction over at Wizards of the Coast where people are just like, you know what? I don't care. Have it. Here's the product. Go have fun with it. We're gonna steal the thunder. Is that what it is? Let me know in the comments section below. Let's take a look. We got 50-50 split here. Are you guys seeing the leak spoiler footage? Yes, no. Some of you folks didn't see it. We covered some of it. Now the interesting thing is, like Dual Brain mentioned that they're requesting folks take down any videos leaking these cards. I think that's going to be a really difficult to do. But hey, nevertheless, uh, they can definitely give it a try. Well, that's your show for the Monday. It's the Bro Show. It's Monday, April 24th. I want to thank you folks for joining. I appreciate you all for tuning in here. Leave a like on the video if you like this video. I'm not going to be around on Wednesday, Thursday. I got some appointments to take care of early morning, and my arms are going to be tired because I'm going to be hitting the flight. So that should be, I'll let you know how all that goes, but we'll be back to our regular scheduled programming tomorrow as well as Friday. So if you guys had a decent weekend, I'm going to hopefully get out maybe on my Harley this week. And Mike, if you're riding your bicycle to work again, why don't bicycles stand up by themselves? Because they're too tired. That's right. All right. Well, I'd like to thank you folks, the folks that are working hard, the kick-ass folks who get up in the morning to move the world and provide some value to the planet. You know, maybe you're getting up and, you're heading to a job or you're doing something. Try to find some happiness in whatever it is you do, because it is you folks who take the initiative to get up each and every morning and move this world in the positive direction. It's really easy to sit back and poke fun at the world and just be a negative Nelly, but let's not do that. Let's try and take some initiative, get out there, make some change for the good, make some positive impacts, and try and turn this thing around. Everybody from my generation isn't a loser. It's a fact. Thanks for joining me here on the morning show. We're going to keep on going. We're going to keep on pushing, because we got to hit that 300 subscriber mark. There's 292 of you folks who are watching, the best darn Magic fans in the world, the planet, the highest quality subscribers. Thanks for joining, and we'll talk to you all again tomorrow.